so cool how to see him be like, a lot of people don't know. They think it's like Italian mob shit.
But it's not, right?
It's more, he's a Cuban, so it's like he's straight up like immigrant if you look at it.
Facts.
And that's what I
Yo.
think is super cool about it, is that he's like, is like, it's an American, like that, it's like, yeah, an American mob like
Right,
real story,
yeah.
but it connects to me because of that.
If you see
I got you.
in that background itself, you have to realize something. There's so much imagery off the bat.
Look at the silhouette. Just
Literally.
you hear the song to this, and this is when he kills his mob boss.
Okay.
And he takes over. Like now it's his empire.
So that's the context.
Yeah, like the woman that's at the top of the thing up here.
Yeah.
That's the boss's wife that he just murdered him. He just murked him, and now it's his girl. He's just took over like the music, everything, bro.
Yeah.
This whole movie is like one of those movies where it's just overall complete. Like, think of Saving Private Ryan. Think of like those movies that have like the music, or Interstellar, one of those movies that just music,
the influential music,
God
like
damn.
the music kind of brings you into the film itself.
To me, that's what completes the scene. Like, it's so cool to watch it when you first time put it on TV and watch it. It's crazy.
Like, you see this, okay, so the camera is very zoomed in on the main character. I don't know his real name. I don't know his
Tony
name.
Montana.
All right, there you go. The camera zoomed in on Tony Montana, right? Then you see it zooms out, and you see Tony get smaller as it zooms out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you see the big house, and if you think about it, it's like, I don't know the context of the film, but I can tell you maybe he feels kind of like, damn, I just killed this guy, but now I have all this to myself, but is this really
It's like
the way I fill myself up, you know?
For sure, it's an emptiness, but
Exa-
it's like that also. Like I made,
I
like, you know, that
did it.
machismo. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
It's all that in one. It's for sure.
Exactly.
Like, it's one of those movies that you could just pick
You
any
see both
part.
sides.
You could also pick any scene in this movie, and I promise you, it's as pretty as this. There's
Nah,
scenes where
I
he
can
goes to
tell.
his mom's house, and it's just beautiful sunsets. Like, it's just, the whole movie's like that. It's just
Yeah.
beautiful sunsets, beautiful sceneries that are just like, wow, I've never seen this in other movies. Like,
You know, another movie that I kind of think is similar to that kind of doesn't get the recognition it deserves sometimes is, I know people are going to be like, what the fuck? Mid-90s.
mid-90s.
I think mid-90s doesn't get the love for the kind of cinematography that's within it.
For sure.
I think maybe it's a little biased too, because I like a lot of zooming in shots like that,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
And mid-90s, they did that a lot, but I think that movie gets a lot of hate because it's like some fake skate film.
Yeah, like, it's like, you know, Jonah Hill's never been known for
Literally,
skating.
people
That's
are
why.
like, bro, why is Jonah Hill suddenly getting into this?
Yeah, for sure.
But Jonah Hill, I mean, I don't know much about him, but maybe he just, like me, look, I appreciate the skate culture.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know much of it, and I'm not as invested as I should be.
Mm-hmm.
But shout out to the boy Angel, that's my homie, by the way. He got me hip more to skating, you know, and my boy Aiden, shout out Aiden Crow, and they've gotten me hip to the whole skating culture, and I really appreciate it. It's made me see, like, yo, people be putting in hours.
Bro,
Hours.
that's part of the reason why, like, early on I skated. I was like, a lot of people, like, shout out Hector, who I had last time. He was
Hector.
the biggest hater of me. He used to be like, poser when we were in middle school and shit, right? And it was funny, like, tension, but it was so dumb. Like, later on, we're like the tightest homies, right? But that's part of the reason why, like, skating for me, I never got past pop shove and like little tricks like that, like, because
Yeah.
the hours, the time, and the commitment, dude, you have to be ready to tear your ACL, break an
bro.
ankle, like,
Land on your ass. You gotta learn how to fall. I didn't even know that was a
did you
thing.
see that video with Hector? The clip.
Which one?
That's so funny. No, it's funny that you mentioned that, because literally, like, the clip that I posted right before this is a video of Hector explaining his worst injury, and it's that, like,
Oh my-
falling straight, like,
Bro.
doing the popsicle.
Hector. Bro, I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Dude, that's like, imagine, like, I couldn't recover from that.
That's what I'm saying. But bro, skaters, that is why I appreciate the skate culture, the skate community.
Every day.
They do that every day, and they're just like, yeah, bro, like, I just tore my ACL, but next week I'm going back into it. I'm like, all right, respect.
Dude,
respect.
I could never do anything like that.
There's like athletes that be tearing their ACL, and they're just like
the biggest story for me is Adrian Peterson for the NFL. This dude, you can search him up, dude. He's a dog, but he literally he tore it, and like it's like a 6-month just to be like okay, like back to physical therapy. Like for most people, regular people, it's like 9 months. He came back in 4, like to playing in the NFL.
And was he as good as when he left?
Like just came back like nothing. God. Like, and it's crazy. Like professional athletes, it's because they have. I've been telling my sister this shit. They do PT like twice, 4 times a day, but it's. I mean, they got the bread for it though.
I mean, of course, literally.
You know what I'm saying?
What's his name? The quarterback from
Tom Brady?
Nah. The Bengals, that dude.
Oh, Joe Burrow.
So Joe Burrow, he was on that interview, and somebody was like, "Yo, sorry, your diamond's fake," and then he was like, "Hey, man, I make too much money to have fake diamonds."
For sure.
And that's so true. You know, if I was making the money that they make,
I wouldn't have anything fake. But you know what? That's why 90. I would honestly play my chips right though, because NFL's so like any little thing, dude. It's a 2% chance to be in there more than 3 years. Less than that. Like it's like you
gotta do it right.
They're literally throwing people away.
I
like
know.
You're not good. Bye.
It's because they got the money to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy
literally.
though. But that's the number one public company in the world, I think.
Wow.
I think I heard.
So
that.
what's like number one,
or at least in the U.S. Could be in the world, but I'm not sure. I'm probably not in the world. Probably the U.S. for sure.
Hey, y'all could research it.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all could research
it.
Hey, you were about to say something, but like we're talking about athletes that are good, they recover fast, bro. I don't like to get into a whole like conspiracy stuff, but what you think about humans that are very good at what they do are not really human? It's just a saying. Obviously, maybe they're probably human. They're probably most likely human.
No, yeah.
But there's just like there's always jokes like, "Yo, Michael Jordan is an alien just because he's so good."
Yeah.
Or like Michael Jackson. What the hell was he like?
He was like,
bro, he would sell out insane amounts of like stadiums, arenas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And his voice was like out of this world ever since he was born. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, you think about it, there's people that are just so good at what they do.
No, yeah, for sure, man. Jackson 5 was like,
bro, Jackson 5.
I put Jackson 5 on in front of Jocelyn because she wasn't even really too hip about that.
Yeah.
And I played it for her, and she was just like, oh, he's been good. Like, and I'm like, yes. Like, he's been a freaking musical genius.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I think certain people are definitely just bred for, I don't know, meant for, right? I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
Like, look, Elon Musk. Everybody brings him up.
Just God has a purpose, you feel me? Some people just like literally like there's nothing else in this world that you would put on this thing to do, and like you could either do it the right way or do it the wrong way. I think that's everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody has something they're good at for sure.
Everybody just kind of comes out their shell at a different time.
Mm-hmm.
Like that boy Elon Musk, off the bat, he was already off of PayPal.
Yeah.
And then what he do? He sold PayPal and probably started some other stuff. Tesla. Mm-hmm. Now he's helping like
even the people around here, like everyone who's creating around here, like you, like Hex, like everyone who's doing shit that's like furthering whatever it is they're doing, rapping or making like you're one of the only people around here that I know that's doing a magazine, which is like,
that's
to
what
me,
I've been told.
That's one of the first things that like I wanted to bring up was just like obviously we'll get more into like your creative process and everything, but the cool thing to me was like, yo, you did something that I don't think anybody else here is really doing, or at least like I grew up like in like skateboarding mags and stuff, or like the golf stuff, but I never had like, how to explain it? I never went to the store and went and bought magazines. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you mean.
And
never either.
Yeah, and you're a magazine that I would actually go and look up to go look at clothes or like little cool things. Like if I wanted, I looked in there for clothes mostly, like for me, just to look at like what pieces are people wearing, because I don't go out much. I usually work, so like, and I'm with my family, so like anytime that I get to pick up games from my friends or anything like that, it's like, it's cool. So like, what was your thought process behind that, bro? Like, what was the first thing that you were like, yo, let me get a magazine?
Yeah. Yo, to tell you the truth, like, this was never really envisioned. I didn't grow up saying, all right, I want to make a magazine one day. I would, like around 2020, I would be telling people like, oh, I just want to be a journalist. I want to work for a newspaper or something, still, right? Though. Yeah, like I appreciate that. And shout out to journalists that be going out and putting their lives on the line just for like an article. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They deserve more pay. But,
sure.
Nah, one day I was just telling people all this and that. And then one day my boy Raph, shout out Raph, the photographer for Leche Mag, he said, why don't you just start your own thing? Like, what you got to lose? And I was like, I don't know I don't know where to start. And nah, we just actually, he made it very simple. We started shooting for some other stuff. I met him for the first time. He said, let's get a photo shoot of you. And so we went to go shoot for the New Balances, and I had an okay fit. And then I said, all right, I have some decent content. Let me reach out to some other people and interview them, photograph it. And there it was.
And eventually just became like...
Yeah, literally, like, it came out of nothing, actually. It was a random thing. And one night I said, what would be a cool brand name?
Hold that thought 1 second, bro. I just want to make sure that we're recording before, because you're really talking well. All right, bet. I just wanted to make sure that, and then we're good.
Hey, we're recording. We good.
Keep going. I'm going to cut this out.
Nah, it's all good.
I have editing. I'm a wizard with the editing.
He's the wizard. Let's go.
All right, so you were saying that it just started, and then...
Yeah, no, one night I said, what would be a good name for a brand? Because I feel like I've always had like an issue with like coming to something solid. And I said, what about Leche? Because we would always have some group chats like with dairy related, you know, like Milk 2.0 or like
funny.
What was another one? Cheese or dairy. And I said Leche.
Yeah.
Milk. Like,
it's like
it don't...
good word rolls off the tongue.
Literally, like Leche. And yo, shout out to all my white people that be saying it on the first try.
For real, that's
they'd be like, yo, so what's up with Leche? And I'm like, yo,
got it.
Like my boy Jacuzzi. Shout out Jacuzzi, People's Place. Shout out People's Place. Shout out Joe. Shout out Tito. Shout out Jacuzzi. Bro, shout out to the whole squad there. But that boy Jacuzzi said Leche off the bat, boy. Then I drew something. Shout out Frank Ocean's poster in my room.
I said that, I think when
he was the first person that caught that.
When it dropped, I liked the letters, and I kind of saw that the colors are kind of similar to the in my room thing, and I was like, yo, that's kind of fire. Like, I thought it was super cool. Like, it's super like that whole style is kind of like becoming relevant again. You feel me? So
bubble letters, bubbly looks. I think that's popping a lot more.
Bubble jackets.
Oh, the puffer joints.
Yeah, like bubble, puffer. Everybody's like, everybody rocks with them right
everything's
now.
on the puff wave.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that's a valid wave.
No, I rock with it though.
And it keeps people warm. But
I wanted to ask you, just going back a little bit, because I've fast forwarding a lot. I wanted to go back just really quick and ask you about growing up. Let's take it way back.
Yeah.
So, where are you from?
I am from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Oh,
I was born there 2000,
DMV.
October 6th. Yep.
Maryland,
DMV local.
All right, that's what's up. How would you say that? Did you stay there for a long time?
I stayed there for 6.5 years.
Damn. So, all right. So, do you remember? Or
I do.
A little bit? All right,
lot, actually.
Can you give me a little rundown of what it's like in Silver Spring, Maryland? Yo, is that the same place that had the explosion yesterday?
Yes. On the in that apartment complex, dude. Very sad.
Prayers to everyone.
Yo, shout out to the phone. That's how it's supposed to be.
Alright, so where were we at exactly, bro? Oh, I was just asking you.
The apartment complex.
The apartment complex. Alright, so first off, R.I.P. I don't know if anyone's dead, actually. I'm not gonna say R.I.P.
Nobody has been reported dead yet.
Alright, that's what's up.
Not yet. I'm not trying to say that.
But still, prayers to everyone with that shit. That shit is super scary.
Bro, apartment complexes, that's why I feel like it'd be pretty scary to live in those things.
Real.
There's people that can't take care of their stoves. There's people that don't turn on los frijoles.
God damn.
Or los huevitos.
I'm just saying, bro, like, if you gonna be, man, they just gonna be giving houses to anyone else.
Exactly.
Like, nah, but honestly, not to make light of the situation or nothing, but it just sucks, like, to see that. That sucks.
Very sad.
Is that kind of how a representation of what it's like there, bro? Like,
Definitely
what would you say?
Not. Okay, so specifically, I was born in Silver Spring, Maryland, but I was settled in Burtonsville, Maryland. Burtonsville is like 20 minutes away from Silver Spring.
I got you.
So, Burtonsville was very... If I think about it, bro, that place is low-key a little dead.
For real?
But I was a 6-year-old, 5-year-old, 4-year-old. I was kind of just like living life.
I got you.
That is the pure definition of childhood, though.
For real?
That is how I see Burtonsville, Maryland. I see it as comfort. Growing up, I lived in a townhouse, and I also lived in a single home with this insane amount of land.
For real? So you were just
outside constantly,
acres.
Literally. It was probably like an acre.
That's
probably an acre. But when we moved to the townhouse, that is where I grew up with a lot of people. I would be going outside every day, elementary school.
Yeah.
And so I was back then I was very into cartoon stuff.
For real?
Now what's known as Y2K, I think. Don't quote me on that. But that's why I've always been attracted to like vintage stuff and Y2K aesthetic. Because... Dude, I grew up watching, like, the old Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
the old Nickelodeon.
For sure.
The old
like Boomerang
Disney.
type shit.
Boomerang, man. Insanely. Insane amounts of TV when I was younger, right? So...
How was your household like? Who's living there?
Very comforting, man. You know, my parents, I love my parents. Shout out to my parents. They always made best with what we had.
Shout out Mama Francisco and Papa Francisco. I love them.
Let's go. I love y'all. And my brother and my sister, they were always, looking out for me. I was the youngest. I was the baby.
You. Yeah.
So
it's just them in the house?
Just them in the house. But my first home, I grew up with like some other close family friends. They were renting out the basement.
Yeah.
So I grew up with those people, and then my townhouse, it was just us 5, my brother, my sister, my mom, and my dad, and myself.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
That's what's up.
Pretty much.
So going from that environment, like you said that you were watching a lot of cartoons and stuff. At what age are you like talking that? Oh, so you said 6, right?
Yeah.
So then after that,
from pure memory that I can remember, like 4 years old until like what? I stopped watching cartoons, I think when I was like 13.
13? All right. So then all that time you're soaking up like all these cartoons, just watching.
Yeah.
You just like creative, like or not creative, you like graphics and shit like that.
Yeah,
like
I love graphics. Like I love graphics. I've always been such a visual person.
Yeah.
So anything that I like, it's always animated or like it's visual,
Fast forwarding a little bit to like, when did you move over here? When was that?
So I moved to Manassas when I was 7. My dad found a new job, better opportunity, so we moved over here. It was closer, and I moved to this like townhouse complex, and that's where I started going to like Ellis Elementary School.
Shout out Ellis.
Shout out Ellis.
I lived close to Ellis, but I never went to Ellis. I knew you pretty early on. I'd say like 8, 9 years old. So that's what's up. It's cool to see how you've grown from.
Right. Thanks.
But even though like I knew you and everything, I don't think that I knew like exactly what you were doing when you went home. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I knew him from church, by the way. We grew up we went to church. So like when I saw you, like when we were kids, and I would just be like, "What's up?" Like I knew some things about you, but I didn't know fully your interests. So fast forward, what would you say like those interests were? Like really growing up, like those real, like those real like informative first liking. You know what I'm saying? For me, I was always, as early as I can remember, it's just been rap. Like for me, like
that's a good one.
Like
though.
they did the Super Bowl commercial. My dad was just like, "Yo, Those are your favorites right there, dog. Those are your favorites.
Look at them now.
Yeah, and like,
literally.
So, what was that for you? Was it show me music, movies, all that shit? Like, what were you into? Cartoons, you said. So, go into specifics, details.
All right, so I was watching cartoons when I moved to Manassas, but then I hope I can remember this. 2012 or 2013 Christmas, I got a PS3. Although I've always had like video games, it started off with like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, N64, because my mom was like in love with Mario Brothers.
Back to those retro jumps.
Yeah. But then I moved to Manassas. I got a Wii. That's where I fell in love with like Legend of Zelda.
Fire.
Shout out to my brother. We went to GameStop and he said, you should try that game out. I said, what the hell is that?
He literally gave you Zelda. The best recommendation.
And that to this day, I will still take that over anything. And I don't care. You could try to argue with me. Don't try.
That's a good game franchise.
And so Zelda, Super Mario on the Wii. So I was kind of into the Wii. But then I got a PS3, and then I started playing like Ratchet and Clank on the PS3, Sly Cooper. But then I got into Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Call of Duty with my boys. Shout out Aiden Crow. Shout out Jonathan Montoya, David Castillo, the OG A-Ball crew.
That was like a big part of your fucking. Because I remember being. I would join in those sessions sometimes. I remember being in there. That shit was.
We would be rolling deep with a squad.
Shit was fun, bro. I remember those times.
It's fun.
And people try to like downplay games or whatever, and that shit to me is so stupid because it's like you watch a movie, you watch a TV like you watch Euphoria, it's dumbass shit on there all day long. Like, why can't I enjoy? I
have to disagree. I have to.
I mean,
which is fair.
No. I mean, it's a good show.
Nah, that's totally
good show. But I'm just saying, like, there's dumb shows out here that people, or just shows that in general, like, you can just watch this, like, retarded shit. And it's like, all right, you like to watch retarded shit, and I like to engage with
my friends on video games.
And be competitive, and just have, like, to me, it's, and the storylines are fucking crazy to me. Like,
no,
honestly.
I agree. So video games definitely had an influence in my life. And I kind of just, like, made a lot of friends through that. And to the point where before anybody says, those aren't real friends, I actually met some of my best friends on video games that I still talk to today.
That's what's up.
I met Aiden on a video game through my best friend John, and that's where I met my other boys.
Shout out Aiden. Any other interests? My bad. Like early on, some movies, music around that time.
So music has always been an influence in my life since I was born, because my dad loved music growing up, still loves it, and same thing with my siblings. They got me hip to like Coldplay, dude. I love Coldplay.
For real?
Coldplay
no, me too.
Amazing.
My dad got me hip to Coldplay early on too.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
So I was listening to Coldplay. Oh my god. Avril Lavigne
goes hard.
Maroon 5, dude, like Switchfoot.
For real, that's fire though. Like, it's early influences.
So many.
I think that those early influences, like, even though they said like, oh, like all you want to listen to is rap, but like for me, like it's they're just making fun of, but they like it too. My dad's the one who showed me all those.
He got you hip.
To you, probably the same. You look back at like super fun memories with those music. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, oh.
And like I even go back to them to like the present day today, and I'm just like, I remember when I was 6 years old listening to this song, and now today it's like the same feeling. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing were magazines, dude.
For real.
Gaming magazines though, but still on the same concept,
like,
though, right?
Yeah, you were on the magazine wave, because honestly I wasn't, but like maybe you were, and that's cool that like you're showing light to some shit that a lot of people aren't hip to. That's what's up. So which magazines were you like going into? Like
Nintendo ones, you know. I would be into like the Nintendo Power. Those were like OG magazines back in like 1990 or whatever when they started. Then I saw them at Giant when I went, and I said, nah, like I want to buy these. Started buying them more. Then I started doing the Game Informers, like the GameStop subscription.
But it's cool because all those had the releases, right?
Of course,
like on, like,
you would always be informed, like actually Game Informer.
That's cool.
You would be informed on everything game related. And then there would be like cool ads in there, and then like cool artwork. So I was more, like I said, a visual person. So if I'm being honest, at like 10 years old, I wouldn't be reading the articles in there. I would be looking at the designs, like the graphics, right? Cool. So that's why with Leche Mag, that's like a big thing for me. Making things aesthetically pleasing to the eye, whether it's like photo placement or in this upcoming magazine, like a new piece of artwork that's going to be shown off on the physical copy. So it's very exciting. And I've always loved artwork. I've always just thought about it as work. You know, people put in hours in making an art piece.
You had any movies and shit that you fucking...
Oh my gosh, dude, movies.
Because I remember early on, that was one of the things that we really clicked off on was movies.
Right.
I kind of fell off of movies, to be honest, but like...
To tell you the truth, me too.
But what type of movies early on?
What I was watching back then, dude, it was like the basic movies, like the Disney movies. I never watched like Cinderella, all those princess... No, I didn't do that.
They're fire.
Yeah, respect to those.
Yeah.
I'm not that interested, but we were doing Toy Story, Lion King.
In like middle school?
Nah, that was more like elementary.
What would you do like
in middle school? Shit, man. I was getting into like more real movie, like real. I can't even remember. Maybe like you hit to 16 Candles.
16 Candles.
I think I forget the director. My brother and I were actually.
Oh, is it Stanley Kubrick?
Nah. That was like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I thought he had a movie called Candle something. Maybe I'm tripping.
But there's like 16 Candles. Like The Breakfast Club. They're all from one director. I just forget his name though.
Honestly, I didn't know that they were. I knew that those first two were the Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Breakfast Club, but I didn't know that 16 Candles. Maybe dude. I don't know who makes those movies.
I forget it. Actually, you know what?
Search it up.
I'm very interested right now. But that's what I was listening to. That's what I was watching, man. I was also watching like Free Willy. Free Willy. Oh my gosh.
I watch Free Willy all the time.
Snowmageddon. That is when I watched all the Free Willy movies. After like the second one, they were horrible. I think there's only one more after the second one. John Hughes, though.
John Hughes.
That's the director. So he made like various coming of age films that made a bunch of money.
Yeah, and were really good.
And that's what I'm saying.
For the 80s, for the time.
Look,
super practical movies.
Tony and I were talking about video games. That is a very grossing career, though. It makes a lot of income. And
especially because of COVID right now, it's having a little downward, but like, let's be honest, that's shit's just gonna blow.
The pandemic was a streamer's like pot of gold.
For real.
That was a streamer's pot of gold. Whether you were streaming cooking, video games, you playing chess, content. You're probably making bread from donations, subscriptions, views.
For sure. And Twitch started off as just a gaming platform.
A gaming live stream platform. And now they use it for everything. Kanye West.
Yeah, everybody.
He's all over that.
Yeah, for sure. He did the Donda 2 thing on there.
Donda 2.
That's what's up.
With Drake. He performed with Drake, which was not a good performance. Both of those performances were horrible. Donda 2, like Kanye's cool. But that performance was horrible. And
I wanted to ask you about Kanye later, but we'll get back to it.
We'll touch base.
Let's so this was like middle school. Let's fast forward a little bit. So clearly you've always been super creative, bro. Clearly you've always like design, all this stuff. So when was the first, I mean, you kind of broke it down with the pictures and everything, but when was that first, like, all right, let me put this creative into something physical. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you were like, I'm talking like, actually, like, all right, I made Leche, made the little thing. Now let's get into having that shit, like mixing it, actually making it, having it how it like look, every page be how, you know what I'm saying, manufacturing. Let's get into all that. That was insane. I started designing Leche. Let me say like November 2020. Okay. Right. I had some photos. I drew up the logo. Is that right before the pandemic or right?
That was actually during the pandemic. Okay, that was during the pandemic.
Fuck like, COVID.
Yeah, screw COVID because you hurt hella people.
Yeah, for real.
But thank God now it's kind of getting a little more controlled.
Yeah.
But I was starting to do that, November 2020. And I started compiling things, kind of just, I had the logo, I had all the photos. So I said, all right, now it's time to type. And the typing, I just started putting, the stories together, these interviews that I got, and I put it all together. Then I started putting it on, what's it called, Adobe InDesign, and it started just working out. But at first, I did everything strictly off of Photoshop. And then I would go to InDesign, and that's where you're supposed to do it. So at first I was like freaked out. I was like, yo, what do I do?
I have to redo everything.
But then that's the art of the internet.
And learning and just...
Learning. Literally, you learn as you go. And I'm not a professional. I'm not licensed in Adobe. I never took a course in Adobe. But I have...
Shit comes out fire, though. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
That's what's up. That's really cool. So... what is it like to get the physical, like when you finally have to, where do you order that? Where do you get magazines done?
I know, right? I know, that's exactly what I was asking myself. I was like, where do I get magazines?
Yeah.
And like I said, that's the art of the internet. So I started just going in, Google, and then I stumbled upon something, and it worked. I talked to them, emailed them, called them, and it was perfect.
All right, so now you have this, right? Now you have this idea.
Yeah.
What was the first step in getting everybody? Were you like, yo, I need people in the area. I need creatives in the area. I need to spread the word out about this place. Same shit that I'm kind of doing here. Pushing
Shout
the
out
narrative.
Tony. Shout out the podcast.
So just trying to get people in there. So you got my boy Hex. You got a couple people in there around the area.
Yeah.
How is that process like? Like, do you fuck with anybody? Give you problems?
Yo, so one thing I want to just like put out there that Leche is a magazine that kind of comes from my taste. The brands that are in there, I really mess with them heavily. So Hector, I've always seen Elusive like since high school.
Yeah.
And I was always like, yo, I like Elusive. Yeah. One day, I'm gonna reach out to him.
For sure.
So this was like the perfect opportunity. I reached out to Hector. He was with it off the bat.
Yeah.
Right? Then we did our Locals for Leche, which my aim for Locals for Leche are more like brands that are kind of starting off. Not just brands, but people in general too.
Just doing anything.
Just starting off in their thing, you know? And they're pushing it, whether it's like you're now getting into like clothing and you love to show off your clothing and you love to show off your sense of style, or you just started like a local food thing and you want to show that off.
Fire.
You know, you just started this and you want some exposure.
Haven't even thought of that. That's what's up.
Yeah. Food, so, or a person that just started a hat company. You just started that and you want a good way to put your name out there. The Locals for Leche subject is perfect for you. So Dillion, you know, we're out of high school already, and I feel like her style is kind of evolving more. So I reached out to her. She worked out perfectly. We were gonna have somebody else, but the timing wasn't right, and it just didn't work out. So I reached out to her. She was with it off the bat. Then my section. So my goal is to not always have this, but like my personal like article where I talk about something that I like in my life, and that was like the New Balances. And then for volume 2 is like Stray Rats. Stray Rats is a clothing company from Miami. They're based out of New York City now, and they just do some cool clothing, you know, like streetwear stuff, t-shirts, jackets, a lot of awesome New Balance collaborations. So New Balance, I grew up with New Balances. Those were the sneakers that my parents were getting me when I was like 6 years old.
That's just like,
hated them.
For real?
I hated them. I was like, why am I a 7-year-old kid not wearing light up sneakers? Who wants
so
light up sneakers?
Funny,
I'm sorry, but bro, like if you're wearing light up sneakers.
Nah, but when I was 6, that was the coolest thing in the world.
Exactly. I wanted that.
Yeah.
I wanted that so badly.
So
but looking back, like,
funny.
but yeah, I wanted light up sneakers, and my mom and dad got me some New Balances, and I was like, but I love New Balances.
That's what's up.
And it's kind of crazy. Like they kind of made their way to my life full circle.
What's your creative process like now going into this new one? Because you're doing the next one, right? So
yes.
now that it's your second time, just kind of, I don't know if you're in it currently or whatever, but just when you're doing anything, what is it like? Are you playing music? You like it quiet? You like it in your room? You like to like, what's the way to do it? Spontaneous as soon as it comes to you?
Yeah. If I have to be honest, the spontaneous one, I feel like myself, I don't have a process.
I got you.
I think it's just like, all right, I'm feeling it. Let's get to work.
I got you.
With like photography, we kind of schedule those, and after a photo shoot, I always have this insane drive.
Oh, for real?
Like, yo, let's get to work. Let's get to work. Yeah. But nah, there's not some crazy creative process. Music was definitely a heavy influence for Volume 2. Tyler Creator's Call Me If You Get Lost came out, and in this album, Tyler like already made it success. Like an insane clothing brand,
for sure,
fragrances on the body, and this man's is doing his thing.
He's crazy. He's out of here.
You know, then I kind of just started seeing his whole story, interviews left and right of him and how he came up, and then I said, you know, this album is like an end game. And this is something that I would like to achieve one day.
Inspirational type.
Exactly.
Shit.
So that was definitely like a big drive for Volume 2. Volume 1's inspiration was just me kind of trying to get out of a dark hole in myself.
For real, just trying to get up. Were you going through a tough time?
Yeah, I was going through a tough time, and Volume 1 was kind of like that gateway.
What? If you don't mind me asking, you don't have to get it too deep.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good.
What were you going through?
I was going through a breakup, guys. Unfortunate.
That one's always the one.
Yeah.
That one's always the one. You get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Just like that.
So actually, no, for real, I was kind of getting like a little lost, and so Volume 1 was like, "Yo, Frank, come on, let's work on this."
And to be honest, that's super cool because that's your coming of age movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's your first volume. Is that
actually
getting over a hump of feeling some depressed way and like actually create. Because I feel like if you're creative, you're naturally a person that can get depressed easily. Because you understand shit deeply. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like so the way to also get out of that is like using that creative.
Use those emotions and kind of like put it into something.
Yeah, for sure.
So I knew like, I was feeling this way. I was, thinking these things. So I was like, all right, let's put it into Volume 1.
What music were you listening to around there too?
Ooh,
I don't think
like R&B, man.
For real?
Yeah, R&B. I don't know.
That's crazy.
My taste has been
the fact that you're saying
wavy.
The Call Me If You Get Lost. I know it's more of a rap album, but there's just a couple R&B songs on there too, and a lot of Tyler's albums are R&B.
Yeah. Off that album.
You like Frank too? Frank's R&B.
Yeah,
Frank's like more contemporary. You know what I'm
saying? But to tell you the truth, like I love Frank, but I haven't played him that much.
He hasn't dropped.
Nah, it's cool. Like I still love all his albums, his singles. Like Provider is an amazing song. If you guys have not listened to Frank Ocean's Provider, I don't think you'll regret it.
It's your favorite song?
Probably, yeah.
I mean, he hasn't dropped, so I mean, I understand. I feel like he was about to drop. His brother died and shit like that. So
yeah, he's going through stuff. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, what else were you listening to? You don't like R&B? That blows me because I'm like I'm an R&B connoisseur, dog. Like that's right next to it's rap R&B for me. Me, you know what I'm saying? I love that shit.
I was honestly trying to listen to also not a lot of sad music. I was trying to listen to like, bro, Whole Lot of Red dropped like in the December time. At first I didn't like it, but then the more I listened to it, I was like, this is so explosive in my head.
Do you think let me that's keep what going. You like about it? There's just more
dude,
like
it's like your
energy.
Dude, Cardi is not meant for lyrical
for sure.
Dissecting. You're not gonna be like, let me listen to Cardi if I'm in my feelings. No. Listen to Cardi if you're trying to get out of your feelings, And Cardi kind of did that. Yeah. So I was listening to Cardi at the time.
Like Yeet?
Dude, I got mixed emotions on Yeet. I respect Yeet though a lot because of the work he be putting in, and but
Christian, the homie that sits right here on the pod, he's the connoisseur of that music. Like, he's the informant of that music. He gets me hip to the yeets, to the this, to the that, because I'm a boom bap all day or type.
Fair enough.
But or just anything that's, honestly, I don't know how to explain my taste, but he just gets me hip. He rounds it out. You know
exactly. And you're talking about like music. You know, if I'm being honest, like last year I kind of died out on music, man. I kind of like let all my boys get me hip to music. Shout out to my boy Jorge Sanchez, J Dot. He was the one getting me hip to a lot of music last year. He would send me constant playlists, constant albums left and right.
Gotcha.
Every day there would probably be a new song incoming, right? Mm-hmm. So I was kind of just like, let me not go hunting for music. And let me, like how I used to. Mm-hmm. I used to just go on the For You music on Apple Music. I know people hate Apple Music because it's kind of disorganized. But that's what I was doing.
The platform's kind of fucked, but...
Yeah, low-key.
But I mean, I think that's the best way to get music, bro. Like, for me, honestly... being around my CG homies and like these fools right here, like these guys are the ones that like I remember around the time that we were kind of sharing music a long time ago, it was more like indie type stuff. And like I remember that early high school I was super into more indie stuff, and I like rap had kind of disinterested me, like I was kind of losing it. And then I came to realize, like, I was like, everything sounds the same.
I know,
but man. That's how I felt,
and that's how I still feel.
I feel like I could change your mind. I feel like I could change your mind.
Hey man, I'm open to that though.
The reason why I bring it up
I'm open to that
is because of that. Was just I was like that. I was so really stuck in there.
Yeah.
But if you really allow yourself to be open minded. And you really like a genre, like for me, it's like I love rap, and it was kind of sad that I was letting it go.
Yeah.
I found so much once I was around people, and they like allow their reaction. I'm sure that you didn't like Playboi Carti, but then some of people's reactions, you listening to them, at least that happens for me. Seeing people how they react to songs is like, oh, that's super cool that we all feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way once we play a track. Like,
bro, Cardi, when Die Lit came out, that's kind of when I kind of got more into Cardi because of my friends. Mm-hmm. They were the ones, I'm telling you, a lot of my friends had influence on me with music. I got hip to Drake because of a friend. Yeah. Like, Drake. Mm-hmm. Travis Scott. Yeah. I got hip to Travis Scott through a friend.
You guys got me hip. You got me hip. I always tell the story. You and your friend group are the reason why I knew Sheck West a year before that song was cool.
Yeah, literally.
And literally, I didn't have that song added. I didn't have Mo Bamba added. But
Live Sheck West? Sheck West, Die Sheck West, or whatever.
No, that song. But you guys showed me that so early on, like a whole year.
Or Lil Pump. Yeah. Or like X. Dude, R.I.P. X.
For real.
Although I wasn't super into him, I know Jonathan Vasquez and I, we were going, like, we were just hanging out the day, and X dropped his like question mark album. Mm-hmm. That is what we listened to all day from 9 a.m. to like 8 p.m. Damn. That's all we listened to, and that's a pretty good album from X.
No, yeah, I feel like what's it called? All those friends that you have even influenced me in a lot of ways. Like, they got me, like, you guys are the reason why around that time, even though I was letting go of rap, you guys are still the reason why I liked Travis, why I liked Uzi, why I liked like certain little artists that like
Lil Uzi, oh my god.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude, to see Uzi now is like, oh, that's so cool. It's so cool to see where he came from like, because I remember just hearing like, you hear Money Longer and like little shit like that, like just on your phone on like World Star Hip Hop,
right?
And it's like, oh, this is cool, and like you start to rock. I like P's and Q's back. That was the song for me. That was the song. I love that song. I still love that song. But back then I was like, oh, this is a cool song, and then like to see him where he is now is like, that's just super cool.
Nah, that's actually wild. I saw a clip of Kodak talking to like the Nelk Boys, and Kodak was saying that XXL freshman. That's what it's called?
The freshman list.
Like that class, that
2016
is like they're still valid to this day.
No, and I think people, bro, and at the time everyone was saying like, oh, like that's why I said like if you're thinking about it now, you know how you're saying like music right now kind of sounds the same. I feel like I could change your mind because everyone said that in 2016. You know what I'm saying?
Look at them, right?
They are every 21 Savage, like everyone in that list is good, and like maybe at the time I wasn't the biggest fan.
Denzel Curry?
Yeah, and
is he good?
I love Denzel Curry. Right. Like if you're talking one of those dudes that could really rap and is also like can really rap, does it one take every song, so just off the dome, and then also just kind of like has that respect in the streets just a little bit. Like he's more of a nerdy character. He's known as more of a nerd. He's one of the more nerdy ones on that list for sure. Probably the most. But he was still like, I can rap crazy. Like don't disrespect me on that. I can rip. So like
that's respect.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think everybody on that list is.
Nah, man. Yeah, when I first saw that list, I was like, "Who are these dudes?" Right?
Yeah,
and now I listen to like most of them except for like Denzel
21
Curry.
Savage. To me, when he is so goated to me, and like but when he came out, he was on like that Young Savage. Why you trapping so hard? Right. Very murder music, right?
Dude, but actually, that's the perfect like way to put it.
Yeah, murder music.
Actually,
straight up like that, but.
His knife on his forehead, like right when I saw that, I was like, "Who is this guy?"
So good. Like when you break it down to that, like it's so good. I remember I was telling you about like Benny the Butcher and Conway and all these guys. I don't know if you know about them still, but they're coke music. Like that's like the Pusha T wave. Like they're just pretty beats. Like Alchemist, Earl, Action Bronson. It's a whole wave of those dudes that are just rapping over pretty.
So Pusha T, what would you like define coke beat as?
I would say it's this, right? It's the rap that's talking about obviously selling drugs, trapping. Like it's very street, like in lyrics. But the beat is not typical of what trap is today. So that Metro Boomin' trapping so hard beat is very typical of Atlanta trap today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Cool.
And
nice.
and every region has a sound.
Of course. Yeah. But so it's like the East.
Or every region has a sound, so it's different in different areas. Is what I was trying to say. But the element of like a street talking on a track over beats that are not necessarily trap is what I'm talking about, where it's like more elegant, and you see more of the older rappers doing this, and it's cool because now it becomes a lane where it's like if you really like those, like a very nice piano and it's like makes your face scrunch up, like one of those rap songs. You could listen to that. And if you want to listen to Cardi where it's more like Perk 30 music, boom, like that's what
bro,
like that. I think though that's what I would call it. It's more like drugs for each one, because Cardi is like, if you think about it, it's like the Molly, Perk 30,
Molly, what codeine? Oh my god, bro, codeine diet, like all that stuff, bro.
Exactly. And I would say more the rappers that I'm talking about is like they like to talk about, oh, I sold bricks, I sold bricks in LA, or the Detroit rappers, they do over like it's like really fast beats.
Big Sean.
Yeah, or like he's like the most basic version,
that's the only one I could
no, it's fine. It's all good. But like more we were talking about him last time is Babyface Ray. He just has a song with Pusha T. I don't know if you know him, but he's more, if you listen to him, his beats are like, it's very quick, but he's just talking about scamming and trapping, and that's more elements of Detroit. Like everybody has their own elements,
their own talk.
It's
right?
super cool.
Talking about old rap music, so a friend of mine actually just like we were listening to some music and know about Dre.
Know about Dre? Yeah.
Bro, when I heard that song, I said, "Whoa, what is this?"
Yeah.
Then I started going into Dr. Dre, The Chronic, 2001, and
it's crazy, right? Yeah.
Amazing, right?
Production wise. Crazy.
And look, man, this is going to be, I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but I'm really picky with like sound. And if like a rapper's voice is not good, I don't like it. Like, I don't like his voice.
You don't like his voice? That's what it's
but his sound though, bro, that joint is lit. It's explosive, it's loud, and that is what I'm kind of into right now.
Yeah.
But Dr. Dre, he had this like this deep voice, like, I got a
take
6'4".
back.
Yeah, take it back.
Rap
And,
it to the yeah. I know
and
what
he has a
you're talking
flow,
about.
man. He
Yeah.
got that flow, and that boy Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, it's super cool, but dope. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the show. Like that older music. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people praise it, and I love it too. I promise you. It's just more for me. I can't say that right now because it's evolving. It's gonna keep getting bigger. It's the biggest genre. It's just gonna keep getting bigger. But I know what you mean, though.
It goes full circle.
You have to play homage to those dudes, though. Like that's what literally got me listening to it.
Dude, what's it called? Snoop Dogg just
bought Death Row.
Yeah,
that shit's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Imagine starting off with a label, right, and then buying it.
And then also, we were just talking about it. Like this. I'm sorry, we're bringing up kind of old topics, but the fact that if we're being honest, Uncle Snoop could have signed a YG, a Roddy Rich, all these people hella early because he's from the West Coast.
Yeah.
That would have been an easy sign to Uncle Snoop. Snoop could have been like.
So I'm honestly not too hip to that. Like, explain that more for me.
Like
please.
I'm saying, like think about like okay, all these little dudes, right? They all are big artists now, right? But they were small at one point.
Of course.
Snoop knew about them when they first started.
Yeah.
Guarantee, because Snoop is just tapped in, like just knows.
He knows, right?
And people are giving him music all the time. So he could have signed if he would have had this Death Row maybe a couple years ago. A YG, a Roddy Rich would have came out of the Snoop Dogg camp.
I got you.
Because it would have just been an easy Death Row. It's West Coast. It feels right.
Yeah.
It feels like we got a place back over there. Like feels good. Home team over there.
Talking about that, it's kind of crazy how people got that gift of noticing artists off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, yo, this guy is something.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a movie trailer yesterday for this Elvis Presley movie, and in the movie, Tom Hanks plays like a promoter or like a manager or something. And like the first time he ever saw Elvis perform, he was like, "Yo, I need to I need to represent you. I need to promote you." And it just takes one person to change your whole life.
Remember, we brought Kanye up. I was gonna ask you about that documentary and everything. Yeah. So I know that you're a big fan, or at least I remember we were talking about Kanye back in the day. How did you feel watching that? Like, where it's like, to me, I can relate to it because I don't know a lot of people doing podcasts around here. I don't know a lot of people around you doing magazines. So all we need is a step through the door. You feel me?
I know.
So how do you feel about watching that shit? To me, it's inspirational. It's so cool.
If I'm being honest, I actually haven't gotten into it.
Watched it.
No, I have not, and I feel very ashamed. Yes, that's horrible that I haven't. But a lot of people have said this is insane, and I've seen memes where it's me watching Kanye West documentary, and then me it's some guy working his ass off.
Yeah.
But Kanye West's music, despite him being a crazy guy doing questionable things, his music has always been very, very, very artistic, and the guy's talented, man.
That's what's up.
Especially late registration.
Yeah, for sure,
and
man.
when he was coming up, or graduation, or
and he was just
college
kid.
dropout, right? That's the other one.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, he was when he first met Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was like, who the fuck is this guy? Who is this dude?
Yeah.
Who is this kid that just popped out of nowhere?
Yeah, for sure.
Next day, Slow Jams is number one,
and that's one of my favorite songs.
Honestly, such a good song.
Yeah.
And
man, how you gonna tell me you don't like R&B? You like that song?
Nah, I'm saying I love R&B.
Oh, you do?
R&B has to be one of the. No, my bad. Let me clarify. Frank likes R&B.
Frank likes
R&B is good. One song that kind of attracted me to Kanye West was New Slaves.
That beat and that little breakdown in the middle with Frank.
Literally, that song is so wild.
Yeah.
That song is crazy. I saw it off of a Complex video, looked in the comments, and it was just the beat. So I was like, what's this crazy electronic ass boom beat? And somebody was like, New Slaves, Kanye West. I was like, all right, let me go into it. And everything he says is kind of insane.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, shit. He was probably onto something back then. and now he's on something
That's what's
weird.
up. Before we get to the end of this shit, I wanted to get a couple more questions on Leche before we move on.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you first and foremost, what's the next step for Leche? Like,
Oh man,
I know that you're coming up for the next magazine. Is there anything else that you have in mind for Leche? Do you want to get into other shit?
Of course, there's always thoughts always going through my brain about what can Leche be, and if I'm being honest, I don't think I'm always gonna be with Leche my whole life. I would love to venture into other things, make new.
You want to give the
brands.
creative control to somebody else?
Of course, yeah. No. I'm never gonna end it, but like me personally, like I'm not always gonna have like the final say no more, one day I know somebody is gonna come up.
You want it to be big,
and I want it to be the right person
that
takes that over, that sees my vision, and that I don't have to worry about, damn, I gotta get this done myself, because I want it to look the way I want. No, somebody's gonna be like, yo, I know what you want. I know,
like the
and
aesthetic.
I can show you that I can do this. All right, if you show me, you prove to me, you're taking it. And from there, obviously at that point, my goal is to...
Would you still have your hand in the company, or you plan on selling now? Or not selling out, but selling, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, I'm always still going to have my hand in there, but it's just going to be
no creative, creative part.
Yeah, yo, David, yo, everything's good with Leche, right, man? Yeah, boss, you good, don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Let me go take my vacation real quick. Let me go to the Bahamas.
That's what's up. So then what other stuff do you, you eventually, what do you want to get to?
I want to get into a legit clothing brand. I love clothes, man.
You have a name? Or no, you just ideas that you want to do? Exclusive. Let's get it.
Let's see. I did take, let's go. It was like a name I actually came up with one night that I was just like, what would be a good clothing, like a designer brand? It wouldn't be like a clothing brand, it would be like a pieces. At this point, I'm kind of just, yo, guys, I can't find it. I'm sorry.
It's but F it. You know what I'm saying?
But
so
it's a cool
clothing brand.
Speed Test. Oh my god.
Speed Test.
There you go. Speed Test.
Sounds fire, actually.
Yeah, and if you think about it, every kind of name has like its own style. So Speed Test would be more like streetwear culture, streetwear,
100%.
Hoodies, t-shirts, fire boxers. I would love boxers.
Let's go.
What else? Socks, accessories, right? Leche would be a media company. It would be
so you want
merchandise.
It to be videos.
Yeah, video. The magazine, of course. I would love to have the magazine always a thing.
You have a YouTube channel, right?
I don't, but I would love to do stuff like that.
Content on YouTube?
Yeah, just like us living our life. And through the years of it, getting more and more recognition.
So eventually you want Leche to be like somebody else behind the camera and you're in front of it more.
Yeah.
And just like...
I would love to have a crew.
Yeah.
I got a full team and people on payroll.
And have them taken care of and have them take care of.
Yeah, of course. I find a creative... let's say I'm out in New York City. That's my goal. That's my end goal. Having Leche office in New York City. That is where it's being worked out of. That's where things are being produced. That's where things are being designed and distributed across the world. But of course, I would love to have it in other places. So a storefront or something.
Store would be crazy.
Yeah,
so a Leche store, but then also you want to just have multiple shit. Have the speed, what was it?
Speed Test.
Speed Test. Yeah. That's such a fire name. I got to remember that.
Subject to change, though. Subject to change.
But still. So then anything else? So you said media company, the clothes, obviously.
Yes.
Is there anything that you really want to get into other than that?
And then personal things, like me investing. Yeah. Personal investments into companies and people that I see very great potential, and I try to make them come up, and we both win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But nah, my major end goal for me though is to have a great home, have a great wife, have a bunch of kids that are taller than me.
Me too, bro.
We better make them some athletes.
Me too, dog. You better do something in my house.
Literally.
You're not about to be sitting around.
No.
But that's what's up, man.
And
that's
then
great.
Take my family out
That's what's up.
But also take my mom out.
That's good that you have like those morals are just more like family oriented.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I've always been around that,
Yeah.
so it's like I've seen what my parents can do, and I want to do that for them.
For sure,
you know.
100%.
So that is Leche Volume 3. I hope you guys are excited as I am, because I think this is going to be one of the best ones yet.
And that's the only thing you have in the near
Yeah,
future,
as
right?
of right now, I'm going day by day.
I feel you.
Things will pop off when the moment is right.
Yep.
And when that door opens, I'm taking it. That's what we're
Look
doing.
out for Leche.
Yes, sir.
Volume
Leche Volume 3.
Shout out to Francisco Ochoa here for the video.
Thank you, Tony.
For the interview.
I appreciate that, my dude.
Thank you for coming through. Road is Yours podcast.
Let's go.
Every other Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Much love.
Pink, pink, pink.
Much love.